for coming this morning. How many of you are seeing me for the first time? Anyone? First time? Quite a number. Okay. Good. I love it when we have people who are new to me, at least. How many of you are new to Satyalam Sambodhi? First time you come here? My friend there. Okay. Want you to sit or you're fine? Okay. He's my one of my friends here, and I think also my son is here, so it's first time also, I think, right? Yeah. Okay. So those of you who may not have seen me before, I've been introduced. My name is Nee Wern. Those of you who have heard my introduction, please bear with me. Pretend you're hearing it for the first time. But those of you who have not known a little bit of my name, I'm born in the 70s. So being born in the 70s, some people who may be 70s people, you know that those days Chinese names never betul one. Okay, yeah, never betul one. My grandfather gave me that name because he wrote it down in Chinese character, but then when they asked how do you write it out, and they can write it out, and he probably asked around and he got something like that. It's not exactly one, like those days it's a hybrid Hokkien Mandarin kind of thing. I had a lot of problems growing up in school because they always mistaken it for a girl's name. Right? So yeah, true. Even today, people still think it's a girl. When they meet me, they get very disappointed. And then they always mispronounce the name, Iwi, Iwu, Ihun, and all that kind of, all kind of things. So he says, I just say, tell people, very simple. You sing the song by Teresa Teng. You know how to sing? You start singing the song and say, Nee Wern, why? So you just you sing the song, you call my name, so you are favorite, So call me Nee Wern, and just a quick intro before I go into my talk. Today I'm going to talk to you about three urgent things. You must be curious, what is the three urgent thing? We'll explore that shortly, So what is urgent to you may not be urgent to me, anyway. But as been introduced already, this is me. I'm the head of Dhamma Leadership Development. It's a little bit of update there, the profile or the cradle, basically to look into how we can better the leadership in the community, especially the Buddhist community. We need to develop leaders, because leaders make a lot of things happen, good things or bad things. So we have to get them right, to make sure that the leaders are in the right mindset. I'm also currently sitting as the EXCO in Subanjaya Buddhist Association, SJBA. I'm the head of the Dharma, propagation, Dhamma Duta department, and basically I take care of all the, the Dhamma learning development work that I do there. Of course, as we introduced, you all know iGEMS. Those of you who went for the concert, you've seen iGEMS perform. And they have been performing there, and many others down the road. I started my Dhamma journey quite young, as a teenager, and so being a teenager back in the early 90s, I would say, late 80s, early 90s, I got an opportunity to be involved in the setting up of the youth section. In fact, I was the pioneer batch of the youth section. Also the pioneer batch of the Subanjaya Buddhist Association Sunday School. We were the students, at that time only got 5-6 students, and of course it has grown today. So anyway, that's a little bit about my background. I will not bore you with it. But before I go into the topic proper, I'd like to say that coming together here on a Sunday is a very fortunate thing. So my next question to ask you is, why are you here? Some of you to learn. That's a politically correct answer. It's a good answer. Some of you have no choice but to be here because your children are here, so I have to be here, otherwise my children would not want to be here, you know. And some of you are here, but some of you are here because you did something that maybe has pushed you. It could be certain forces, you know, we call it sankhara, right? The forces that has pushed you to be here, sitting here, instead of having breakfast and brunch somewhere. There must be something there. So why are we here? Why are we here? Sometimes we don't know. I don't know, Lord, just come lah. Anyway, maybe now, brother, beyond us, better come. But there must be something. There must be 1,000 other things to do, and why do we bother to come here? And that's because it is a very rare opportunity for us to gather as human beings in this what do you call this kind of great opportunity. According to the Buddha, in Dhammapada 182, right? I'm sure some of you are familiar with this verse. Rare is birth as a human being. Yeah. Hard is the life of mortals. Hard is the opportunity to hear the Dhamma, and rare is the rising of Buddhas. These 4 lines represent what we call the rareness in the world. How rare it is to be born in a fortunate place like this. So you all know the story of how rare is a human birth already? Some of you are experts in this. Yeah? You know the story? The turtle story? How many of you have not heard about the turtle story? Haven't heard that? No choice to tell. Okay, the turtle story goes like this. The Buddha is a very great teacher, because the Buddha was someone who uses a lot of imagery. And what makes the Buddha great is not so much that he gave a lot of Dhamma talks or lectures like me. Okay? I'm giving you a Dhamma talk. It's like almost like a lecture. But the Buddha hardly does that. The Buddha always goes by having similes, analogies, right? And that's what makes us connect to whatever he wants to tell us. So the analogy is about the blind turtle or the one-eyed turtle or the turtle who cannot see very well. Doesn't matter, like, it's a turtle in the ocean who cannot see very well or cannot see at all, and is swimming in the vast ocean. For every 100 years, the turtle will go up to the surface of the water, right? Every 100 years, he goes up, takes one breather, comes back down for another 100 years before going up again. In that vast ocean, there's this yoke. Yoke is like, you know, the buffalo put a yoke on the neck, then pull the cart. Yeah, it's like a yoke, and that yoke is floating in the vast ocean. And now, every 100 years, the turtle goes up. What are the chances? Every time the turtle goes, the head sticks up, ngam, masuk the yoke. What are the probability or the chances of that happening? Anybody can calculate? How rare? Okay. Okay, very, very rare. It's more rare than rare. Okay. Some more. You see, imagine this. How rare is rare? Yeah, it's almost impossible. Yeah. But there is a chance now. It's just that it's a very, very rare chance. According to the Buddha, the opportunity to be born as a human being is even rarer than that. That's the kind of image the Buddha used to shock us. Because here we are, being born as a human being, seated right here, 讲爸爸了, relaxed, not much of problems. But many people still complain, no? Correct, no? My life no good, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, those kind of things. So, but this is a very important reflection. I bring this up because it has to do with our topic later on. So, rare as well as a human being heart is the opportunity to hear the Dhamma. So you're born is a human being. You're born in Malaysia. Okay? You're born in Malaysia, you know. Alright? Some more. Not only that, you have an opportunity to be in Setia Alam, you know. Rare opportunity. Not many people can be here. Alright? Setia Alam is nice. Good neighborhood. Okay? Some more? To have an opportunity to come here on a Sunday to hear the Dhamma, or any other day to have, this is a very rare chance. Now this is very important reflection because many a time we take things for granted. This morning I feel tired, I don't feel like coming. I have a few unfinished business at home, a lot of things to do. If my children don't come, maybe I can sleep another 2 hours. I have some marketing haven't done, all those things. But this is a rare chance. You miss the chance, you don't know what will happen. Because, like I will demonstrate later why this is an important reflection for us. A few weeks ago, I attended a Dhamma. I always like to go for some Dhamma talks. I was in BGF, and there was this particular teacher, and he's a Tibetan, I would say like a teacher, and he's a Rinpoche. Rinpoche is like a. So anyway, it's very well learned, very sharp, and the topic for that day was very interesting. So the art of dying, how to die well. So maybe because the Tibetan tradition, they have a lot of all these death rituals and things like that. So. And he was seated right there, and we were all waiting for him to start, So after the MC introduced like this, and then he was just sitting down there, and he didn't say anything. He was just sitting down there, and for 5 minutes he didn't say anything, and we were wondering what is happening. He didn't say anything for 5 minutes. Maybe next time I should do that, see what you're... I started leaving. And after a while, he just looked up, and he says, don't know how to start. Because he says, don't know how to start. Of course, we all laughed, but then we were curious, what do you mean don't know how to start? He said the topic is about how to die. And number one, I'm not died yet. so I can't tell you firsthand, about how the art of dying, firstly. Secondly, he was saying, we make a big deal out of death. In fact, death is a big deal. Right? We make a big deal of it. When people die, or when we ourselves come to a stage of our life, we passed away, we make a big deal out of it. We make a big deal out of making sure we don't die, and we die in a certain way, and we make sure. So we make a big deal out of death. There's a lot of fuss about death. But we don't make such a big deal about life. And that's the irony. So by right, should be the other way around. Make a big deal out of life. And then when it comes time to die, just relax. Should be that way. But a lot of us make a big deal out of that. So very interesting, profound kind of sentence from him, because he says, at the end of the day, it's how we live our life. It's how we live our life that will determine how we die. You wait until the time to die, and you do all those things at the time of death, it's kind of too late. Because by the time comes, I see that. It should be that way. But we make a big deal out of death. We fear it. We tend to make sure we want to control our death. We want to control when we die. Things like this. And that's very interesting, isn't it? Very profound reflection. And that's the reason why I chose this topic to speak to you all today, rather than talking to you about other things at the same time. Because I want to go back to basic here. Now I want to ask you all this question. What are you all busy with every day? Anybody still working? Working people, okay. What are you busy with most of the time? Wake up and work. Then, what else? Working, okay, some more?
Making money.
Making money, sure got money to make.
No,
You don't, you're not working anymore, then don't work.
No money. No
What?
working.
Not working means got money already, so. What are you busy with? Taking care of the children, busy with stuff. So we are quite busy every day. Yeah, am I right, working people? Any? Working people? Busy? Every day very busy? Yeah? How many of you are beyond working life? No more already. 免做工了，免做工的，免做工的，yeah. Okay. What are you busy with?
What I'm busy with?
Huh?
I just loiter around.
Loiter around. Then?
Trying to keep ourselves busy.
Doing what? Doing what?
Whatever.
Reading,
Thinking.
thinking,
Sometimes
quarreling. Okay. That will keep you very busy lah for okay. What are you busy with most of the time? Taking care of grandchildren, very busy. Okay. These days, after retirement, become 做阿公阿媽了very very busy. Actually, we are all busy. Go marketing, buy things. My own father does that. You know, he goes marketing. He does all the things and quite busy. We are all busy every day with something. We are all occupied with something. If you're working, you're busy working. You're busy trying to earn your money. You're busy taking care of the children, making sure the children have whatever they have. If you're grandparents, your obligation haven't completed. You still have a lot of things to do, and you're busy. And even if you're not busy, you find things to be busy about. Quarreling. So, what I'm trying to say is, we are all, sorry, should I change? What I'm trying to say is, we are all busy with something on a daily basis. That's what we normally do. Now, this is very important for us because we all talk about life and death. But we are so busy with our life, we got no time to think about life. We are very busy with our life, we got no time to think about life. You think after retirement got more time? No, like it was. Alright? And then you find yourself to be occupied with something and we hardly go back into what is important in our life. And that's very true for most of us. When we are busy working, you say, make money first lah, earn our earning. When I retire, I can do anything, I can spend more time, attend Dhamma talk lah, all those things. Then after retirement, also the same lah, very busy also. So it's the same thing. It's our human behaviors and habits that has been continued, and the point I'm trying to make is that if we do not check on this, we are on autopilot. We will continue the same behavior even after death, and that same tendency behavior will be in the next life as well. It's called repeated behavior. That's why we continue to be in this samsara. We call it the cycle of existence again and again. Because nothing changed, man. Nothing changed, man. But very busy. No time to do other things. And that's exactly what the Buddha encountered. The Buddha during his time. I want to introduce this sutta to you. It's called the simile of the mountain. The Buddha loved to use similes. I love this sutta. It's one of the most powerful suttas that that I can see. Simile of the mountain. And how does it go? Okay, you don't know about King Pasenadi? You know who's King Pasenadi? Anybody don't know? King Pasenadi, no? Okay. Buddha was a very special individual because he actually has friends in high places. We call it ada banyak VIP punya followers. In fact, he make friends with kings, with government officials, with people of influence. Yeah. So King Pasenadi was one of the king in one of the kingdom called Kosala, and became eventually a follower of the Buddha and very pious, probably quite a good supporter. I would imagine that King Pasenadi would have funded the Buddha's many things as well, on building monasteries, supporting the monks, and also a Buddhist himself, being a practitioner, he also follows the Buddha, and he learns very well from the Buddha. So so don't underestimate the power of people, So now that at Savatthi, which is the place where the Buddha was, King Pasenadi of Kosala sat to one side, and the Buddha said to him, "So, great king, where are you coming from in the middle of the day?" Normal question. So, great king, where are you? Just like we ask you where do you come from? What are you busy with? In other words, what are you busy with? The same question I asked you just now, what are you busy with? And the king answered this way, "Sir, there are anointed aristocratic kings who are infatuated with authority and obsessed with greed for sensual pleasures." He's talking about, people like that. In other words, he's talking about himself. Okay? "They have attained stability in the country, occupying a vast conquered territory. Today, I have been busy fulfilling the duties of such kings." In other words, he's telling the Buddha, actually I'm very busy. I live a very busy life. I'm doing so many things, but obsessed with greed for sensual pleasures means actually all this is because of gratifying the senses. I want enjoyment, I want this, I want that, So, like everybody else, I'm also doing the same thing. Very honest king. Alright? So, when you say, I'm busy, I got no time, I'm doing all those things, you're honest. You're honest. Yeah. So if you come and say, I want to learn Dhamma, I have a big question mark also. It may not be true. The true answer is, I'm very busy, I got a lot of things to do. That's more honest probably, And that's a very honest king. He says, yeah, that's what is happening to me. Okay? Now the Buddha is not just manhao, he's not just asking apa khabar. The Buddha has always a reason why he asks certain questions. And one good thing about the Buddha is not someone who just tells you what to do, but challenges you to think. And this is how the Buddha challenged the king. This is where the silly happens. What do you think, great king? Suppose a trustworthy and reliable man were to come from the east. He'd approach you and say, "Please, sir, you should know this. I come from the east. There I saw a huge mountain that reached the clouds, and it was coming this way, crushing all creatures. Great king, do what you must." So, huge mountain, all the way to the clouds, coming from the east, crushing everything in its path, coming your way. Do what you must. Okay? Imagine that. It's very visual. It's almost like Armageddon, right? Asteroid about to hit the earth, end of the world coming, right? Yeah, that's exactly. So the Buddha already talked about. You don't have to go and watch all those films. It's very, very good image. Then the Buddha says, then a second man come from the west, a third from the north, and then from the south, saying the same thing. I saw a huge mountain reaching the clouds, coming this way, crushing all creatures. King, do what you must. East, south, west, north, all directions coming, crushing everything in its path. Do what you must. So, my dear friends, if this happened to you, what will you do? Panic attack. Okay, what else? What will you do? Run away. Run away. Very interesting. You say run away.
Away from the mountain.
How? Which direction?
Opposite direction.
What opposite way? You come from all direction or south, west, north, west, all direction. So how? Run where? Yes?
You want the honest or dishonest one?
I don't know how to answer you that question.
You say
Ah,
Four direction.
all four direction is.
Up and down is not coming this
Okay,
way.
so how? You run out.
Up towards.
Cannot. I did the same talk in some other place. They say you just come a helicopter come, and then
Meditate and hope to levitate.
meditate and hope to levitate go up, Oh, okay, hopefully you reach you levitate on time. Very interesting, isn't it? Very interesting, isn't it? If it all comes at the same time, what will you do? Yes,
You've got no choice. Face it.
face up, how to face it? See up, Smash what? Okay, so now the Buddha is just saying, such a dire threat arises, a terrible loss of human life. When human birth is so rare, what will you do? And so the king answered this way, quite similar to some of your answers, I know. But the king was a little bit wiser than most of us. Sir, what could I do but practice the teachings, practice morality, doing skillful actions, doing good actions? There's nothing else to do except,
But brother, that one should be practiced before calamity.
exactly. So this is where it comes. Next, now this is the punchline. I tell you, great king, I announce to you, old age and death are advancing upon you. Since old age and death are advancing, what would you do? Jara Marana, that's called the mountains in all four directions, coming your way. What will you do? So the mountain is a simile for what? Old age and death. Can you escape? So you can't escape. And the king says, I can't do anything except to practice the teachings, practice morality, practice good actions. It's coming. You just don't know when. You just don't know how. You don't know where. Right? Interesting, isn't it? What the Buddha is trying to wake us up to something. It says human birth is rare, and we have the jara, marana, old age and death coming our way. There is no way I can stop it. And the Buddha didn't stop there. Oh, the Buddha is very, very challenging one. Sir, there are anointed kings who are infatuated with authority. They have attained stability. Such kings engage in battles of elephants, cavalry, chariots, and infantry. But there is no place, no scope for such battles when old age and death are advancing. You have all the armies in the world. You cannot stop old age and death. How powerful we are, whoever we are, how much we have achieved in life, all this cannot stop old age and death. Okay? And in this royal court, there is abundant gold coin and bullion stored in dungeons and towers. Using this wealth, we can bribe an approaching enemy, but there is no place, no scope for such monetary battles when old age and death are advancing. You can't bribe your way out of death or old age. We wish we can, which we did try. That's why we have reverse aging. But there will come a time when even that also cannot work. There will come a time when you will see wrinkles. You will see white hair or no hair. You will have broken teeth or no teeth. My late grandmother had perfect teeth until the day she died. Never lost a tooth. But other than that, they were always good at some point. Very interesting. So, when old age and death are advancing, what can I do but to practice the teachings, practice morality, do skillful actions, do good actions, and so on. In other words, practice of Dhamma. This is called Maranasati, the mindfulness or recollection of death. This is a very, very powerful practice, very motivating practice, because it gives us a sense of urgencies. Any reactions so far? Made a mistake coming here this morning. Yes, any reactions? Yes?
So in other words, those who are young have more time to change, but for us, if you are getting very old, for the old, it's a bit too late already, isn't it?
What do the young people think?
They have more time to change.
How? Must ask for the younger ones. How? True? No, not true. Why?
Not true.
Why?
I think the realization is much more important.
What do you mean by that?
It's never too late to do the right action and the skillful action. The important part is you have to do it. Take action.
Some years back, some years back, I think about 6, 7 years ago, one of my classmates passed away. Just like that. He was driving up to, I think, Cameron Highland or some highland somewhere, and along the way he died. Not while driving, he was taking a break, and then he was 40 years old at that point in time, I think. Like this. Nobody prepared for his death. He also didn't prepare for it. This came. In fact, death has 3 things, 3 characters. First thing about death is it is inevitable, meaning sure happen one. Sure will happen one. Anybody will deny it? No, sure will happen. Sure. Okay. Second characteristic of death is it is what they call unpredictable. You don't know when, you don't know how, you don't know where. Correct? And the third thing about death is it is painful. It's painful. So these 3 things about death. First one, it is inevitable. It's sure to happen, unavoidable one. Can you do anything about it? Can you do anything about it? Can you can't. You can't do anything about the the unavoidability of death is sure to happen. It is unpredictable. Can you do something about it? You don't know when, don't know how it will happen. Don't know where it will happen. You wish it would happen this way, but it happened another way. Okay? Can you do something about it? Sure not. Huh? You predict your own death. Let me see. Anybody got cases like that? I've known some people, I've read some cases where some people tried jump down from a building, never die. You try hanging themselves, the string break all kind of try eating what those drugs are, overdose end up didn't die. So you can't control. You can't control what these 2 things you can't control. Inevitable, unpredictable. These 2 things you have no control. Death is painful. Now maybe this one we have a bit of control. Yeah, this one maybe you have a bit of control. How we die is also how we live. But the point I'm trying to make is not so much about dying and all that kind of. The point I'm trying to make is we must have. See, the problem with a lot of us as being Buddhists and also practitioners sometimes, is that we always think there will be time later. That's the problem with us. Yeah? There will always be later. There will be tomorrow. If tomorrow never comes, and old people show up to sing this song. Sorry, you know the song? Who sang the song? If tomorrow never comes, don't know. Anyway, yeah, if tomorrow never comes, what will you do? That's what it means by reflection on that. That is a very important element of what the Buddha is trying to teach us. Because if you don't have that kind of awareness, then what we will end up doing is the same old routines repeated again and again. Next 5 years, 10 years, I can bet nothing changed. And that's very important for us. So some people say, see, it's easier said than done, and you wish it would happen that way, but it's not so simple. Alright? So there's a sense of urgency. Let me do an experiment and see. Now I want you to maybe just have this concept here. Okay, you don't know when you will die, but imagine you will die. Okay? Anybody got pantang? Buddhists no pantang. The Buddhists love talking about death. Okay, it's our favorite subject. It's true. It's true. When we can talk about death, we can talk about life. You can't separate the two things, you know. And the same is because of this kind of reflection that allows us to orientate our life in a certain way. Okay? But let me just try this out with all of us. Imagine death is coming next year. What's the date today? 15 October. 15 October 2024, you die. Okay? Now I'm telling you, you are going to die 1 year down the road. Okay? Next year. Okay? Same time, you will die. Okay? Sure die. In fact, I can read your fortune one. Can you look at your palms? You look at your palms. You look at your palms. Right? Can you see the lines on your palms? Can you see that there's a fork, there's a letter M there? Can you see a letter M? Yeah. Can you see a letter M? Ini maksudnya kamu akan mati. That's why I can read your palms. Your future is very certain. Okay? Yeah, fine. You found the M, okay? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Now, the point I'm trying to make is, you're going to die 15 October 2024. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. You have 1 more year. What are you going to do today? You don't have to answer me, but think about this. You have 1 more year. What are you going to do now?
Worry.
Sorry?
Worry about the dying.
Worries.
1 more year worry about the dying. So you can't do a countdown now. You all see that one. Then 365 days, okay. Next day 300, so you put a whiteboard there. Every day erase, do a countdown. Is that what you're gonna do? Most likely not, right? So what would most of us do?
Enjoy.
Go traveling more. I spend all the money, okay, don't care you know, don't care. Take out EPF, go, you know.
Rather, I think you will do as much as possible to prevent dying.
To prevent next year.
No, the process of dying.
Extend.
What if there's, okay, I'm telling you no extension now. No extension now, you know. It will come, it's come now, you know. You can't negotiate what just now already said, you can't bribe, you can't negotiate, you can't fight it. It's gonna come, you just don't know when, but assuming you know when, it's gonna be next year. Can you negotiate?
If you know, you will sure do something.
Okay, what would we do? That's a very interesting Yes? Maximize your insurance. Yeah, good idea. Very interesting, isn't it? You know, how we, in other words, actually, you don't die one. All these are actually to ensure our continued survival. Not through us, but our next generation or whatever we want to do next. You notice? You want to travel? Why? So that I just want to make use of whatever it is, but how much traveling can you do? Let me ask you, how much traveling can you do in 1 year? There will come a point where you have to go. There will come a point where all the insurance that you maximize out, at the end, nothing goes to you. Very interesting. Let me challenge you further. You have 1 more month. 1 month from today, you die. It's very interesting, isn't it? As death comes closer, very good, our perspectives start to change. You notice, suddenly it starts to shift really. You got 1 more month. You're going to do whatever you can in that 1 month just to ensure that, you know, when it comes the time, that time you will be ready. It's called preparing yourself. Very interesting, isn't it? You shift your perspective as death reaches closer. Up. Satu bulan macam mana? Don't know yet. Wait and see lor. Next week I'll think about it. Actually, a lot of us are not ready. Because we have never, this is a very important Buddhist Dhamma reflection practice. The Buddha taught this Mara Nusati, which means contemplation of death. It's a practice. It's for reflection. So when we start to do this, you start to realize what is your perspective of life as death comes close. It's a very, very important thing to think about. Let's take it 1 more step further. Besok. Tomorrow. You have 1 more day, 24 hours. Is that what? Huh? Sorry? Die now, don't care, just die. I don't. Now let's take it even further than that. After this Dhamma talk, we all die. Very good. Mati in Sambodi. Very close to the Buddha. Alright? What if it's the next hour, the next minute, and what if it is just the next moment, just the next moment you die?
No regrets. Because I made my choice to come to listen back.
Luckily, but that's very interesting, isn't it, to have that kind of reflection. If you don't have this reflection, you always think there will always be a tomorrow. Dhamma practice is not for me. It's for people who are, who are not so busy, who are doing other, But the minute you start to reflect like this, just like what the Buddha challenged King Pasinadi to look at it through using the simile of the mountain, it's trying to teach us very, very important and very urgent. There's a sense of urgency in our life, not to neglect some of these things. That's why it says come to somebody and Dhamma talk, not because your children force you, but because it's a good opportunity to be practicing, because you don't know when they will come. Yes?
I think if you practice the Dhamma, when it comes, intuitively you'll be able to manage it.
Yes.
Without
Exactly the point. The only issue with us is we don't always reflect that way. Okay? So I'm just trying to give us a sense of urgency rather than, of course we know it's important, but when we get busy, when we quarrel with our neighbor, or when something happens, where is the Dhamma?
as you age, brother, somehow or other, the reflection will come without much effort.
Yeah, when you age, yes, but it's for some of us it's good because you have good background of Dhamma before that. I know some people who are they are retirees and all that. They quarrel with more people. They become very, very difficult people, and they make themselves and others very miserable. Also, God. So it's not so much about. Of course, yes. If as you grow up, as you mature, if you are always with the right company of people, you come to somebody often, you come to practice often and things like this, there's a good chance you will have this momentum lah. But if you have not done these kind of things often enough, when the time comes, even they become older, they also become very difficult. They become very unhappy also. I've seen very unhappy, very, very, I would say, angry with life, and things like that. So, yes, so it's not so much of the age. The age, yes, it does have a factor there. As you age, you should be wiser. That's why, as you grow older, you are wiser. Ha ha ha. By right, but sometimes it's not so much. So why wisdom comes when we have a sense of right view. What the Buddha is trying to teach us is about right view. This is called right view. This is right way of seeing things in the right manner. Then you will move your life and start to push your life and start to orientate our life in the right direction. That's what it means by having your life compass. So now that we know there is a sense of urgency that's needed, what are the 3 urgent things to do? Right? What are the 3 urgent things to do? Another simile. I love the Buddha's similes. Right? Yeah, lovely simile. It's a farming simile. It says a farmer has 3 urgent duties. Those who do farming. Anybody do farming here? No. You do farming? What kind of farming you do? You plant?
Home organic farm.
Home organic farm. So what's the first urgent thing a farmer has to do? He has to prepare the soil. There must be a soil that you are preparing. First urgent thing, first urgent duty. You don't prepare soil, you don't call it farming. True? Second urgent duty the farmer has to do is what? Plant the seed. You must plant the seed. You must have the soil, then you plant the seed. If you have no soil, you put the seed here, nothing will happen. You prepare the soil, you put the seed, what will happen? Actually, nothing will happen also. Nothing will happen, right? Because there's a third urgent duty a farmer has to do, which is what? He must do irrigation. At the right time, drain or irrigate, make sure the fields are properly irrigated so that things will happen. Now the Buddha is trying to say this. These are the 3 urgent duties of a farmer. That farmer has no special power or ability to say, let the crops germinate today, let them flower tomorrow, let them ripen the day after. He has no control how or when the crops going to germinate. He has no control. But there comes a time when the crops will eventually come up. It's just that he cannot tell apple tree, please grow next year, this time, give me this number of apples. He can't do that. We don't have apple here. I just came in from Ladakh, so we got apples there. But here we have what? What do you plant tomatoes?
Longan.
Oh, longan. So can you tell the longan, tomorrow, next year, I want you to grow this height? You can't. But what are the 3 things that you can do? Prepare the soil, plant the seeds, irrigate. When you do these 3 things, there will come a time it will germinate. But the soil must be the right soil. The seed must be the right seed. Irrigation must be at the right time. And with the right amount. Then with all these factors come in, there will come a time where it will bear fruit. Alright? You have no control. Huh? You have no control. But you can only do the 3 things.
When there's pests, you have to fight and kill the pests.
There's someone got pests, you have to take care of the pests. Pest control, you have to all kind of things, yeah? But you cannot control. Same thing the Buddha is trying to say, in the same way a bhikkhu, or thank you very much, or a practitioner like us has 3 urgent duties. 3 things are training in higher sila, higher morality, higher ethics. Training in higher mind, and training in wisdom. In other words, the soil, the preparation is called ethics, ethical conduct, virtuous conduct. Right? How we conduct ourselves on a daily basis, that's called ethics. Are we restrained in our actions, or are we simply do, simply talk, or are we more restrained and then we only talk at the right time, say the right thing, do the right thing? That's called sila. That's called preparing the soil. Okay? Alright? Training the mind is by planting the seed. The seed is representing the mind. The mind with right conduct, the mind is good. If the mind without right conduct, without sila, the mind is not good. It's all over the place. And the third one is irrigation, is wisdom. Wisdom means irrigation, means you learn things, means you learn to clarify things, means you take opportunities like this kind of session to clarify your doubts, your views. Right? Learning from the people, learning from other people, learning from masters, learning from teachers. By doing these 3 things, these are the 3 urgent duties. In the same, but that bhikkhu has, you have no special power or ability to say, may my mind be free from defilements, or tomorrow or the day after. You have no control how your mind is going to work. In other words, you have no control how you're gonna die. In other words, you have no control. You have only the 3 urgent things you can do. Alright? So, you should train like this. We have keen enthusiasm to train in the 3 things. Training of virtues, training of the mind, and training of the wisdom. Now, what are they? They are just the Noble Eightfold Path. Practicing the Noble Eightfold Path means practicing these 3 things. By doing these 3 things, your life, you don't worry. So I hope I've given you the overview. First thing first is to establish about urgency. Secondly is to establish the 3 things that we can do. You can't control how or when, but we can control only the 3 things that we can do in our life. And if we can do this over a period of time, we can transform our life. Life becomes transformed. You become more spiritual, so to speak. That's what being spiritual means. Spiritual doesn't mean come here to chanting alone. Very important, must do but that's not enough. Spiritual is about reflecting on these things. Then your life becomes more meaningful. meaningful, purposeful, has a certain direction. And by doing so, you're like the river Ganges, slope and slant towards the ocean. In the same way, when we can do a few things like this, we are also slowly moving, sloping, slanting, flowing into what we call liberation, nirvana. That's what the practice actually means. Yes?
What's the difference between training the mind and training the wisdom?
What is the difference between training the mind and training wisdom? I think you can't tell the difference very, very clearly, but I think when you say the mind, it means the quality of the mind. The quality of the mind can be either very distracted, you're always very angry, let's say very angry, very worried, a lot of anxiety and all that kind of thing. You're trying to, and a lot of us, our mind is not well trained. That's why we have anxiety, worry, jealousy, envy, anger, ill will, or you name it, we got it all. When you say training the mind, it means to abandon those unskillful qualities. These are called akusala Dhamma. Right? And then you train the mind to be more kusala, wholesome, skillful. So what are they? Love, compassion, kindness, happiness, joy, what else? Non-hatred, yeah? Instead of anxiety, you have more confidence, things like that. So these are called training of the mind, to make the mind more wholesome, more peaceful, more calm, and things like this. That's training of the higher mind. Wisdom is right view, seeing things in the right manner. For example, like this. Wrong view is like this. What to do? Karma law. That's wrong view. Right? So, like that lah, die lah. That's wrong view. When you have this kind of view, it means you don't care. And when you don't care, you will not care so much about cultivation. Right view means I see the importance, I see the urgency. Alright, I see also that this is because this is dukkha. This is dukkha. This is the cause of dukkha. I see. I can view it from this angle. When you view from this angle, what will you do differently? You will start to do things quite differently. So training of wisdom means, in one sense, called right view. Okay, you must have right view. If you don't have right view, you will the entire thing can go in a very different direction. Right? So, but it's all connected, because when you have right view, you will also have better wholesome mind, and when you have better sila, your virtue, your mind will also be more peaceful, more calm. You don't feel so guilty and things like that. Guilt is an unwholesome quality. Alright? Guilty is you hate what you did. I didn't like what I did. Alright? That's called hatred. Yeah? So skillful quality is I can let it go, I can work on metta, I can work on my wholesome states, joy, happiness, and so on. So how to train? There are many ways. That's why we have this practice called bhavana. Bhavana means development. Development means making more of something, growing something. That's why we have metta bhavana. Metta bhavana is to increase metta. Keep growing metta so that becomes wholesome. When the mind has more wholesome qualities, it has lesser unwholesome qualities. When it has lesser unwholesome qualities, more wholesome qualities, the mind is more prepared to have an even right view. And then the whole practice will eventually lead us to a better life, so to speak. It's a very simple way to explain. Okay, so I think that's where I want to leave you with this very urgent reflection.